Great segue to Nick because he goes all over the world. And so think about, so, you've talked about creating video, editing video. Now we're talking about distributing it and distributing it with AI smarts. So Nick Morolda is with Hive Streaming, and their job is to just get your stuff out to where it needs to be.
Yep. That was a great setup. Thank you, Robin, and thanks all of you. It's good to meet you. As Robin said, I'm the Nick Morald. I'm the head of solution engineering over here at Hive. It's Hive Streaming, but our name, it can be a little reductive because we're really a video experience company focused on a couple of aspects that are of delivery, but also analytics at the back of that delivery. So we exist primarily within the internal networks of Fortune 500 and large global organizations with a global footprint that have to service a high number of internal users for video. So if you think about the way, both for security reasons and just for logistical reasons, these large companies have for all intents and purposes, their own private internet, and they build their own private versions of YouTube on various streaming platforms, and it involves all of the video and going back to what Robin said, video is data. All of that data traffic has to traverse their own infrastructure and is subject to the limitations of their own capabilities. So what Hive does from an we're an ECDN, Enterprise Content Delivery Network. We help them pass video around in a way that ensures that a user sitting in Manhattan is enjoying the same video quality with no additional latency at the same time as a factory worker in China or Vietnam, or a call center worker in India. So this idea of democratizing video across the organization, that really helps get the most out of both the messaging and the tools that they're already heavily invested in. So I think in 2023, I think there was like the enterprise spend on video initiatives was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 35 billion. And I think that's growing at a rate of 18% annually. So there are tons of investments in video tools, whether it's live streaming, whether it's VOD content creation, or some of the stuff we looked at today. There's a huge, especially post-COVID with hybrid work, everybody's trying to get as much video out as they can in a number of different ways. But how much of that investment is actually put into the delivery to make sure that the video gets to where it needs to go with the integrity maintained? We see it all the time where content creators will create these beautiful, detailed 1080p high quality video that by the time it gets to that user in India, or that user in, even staying in the United States, rural in Appalachia, is reduced to such a lower quality that the details are lost. And we feel that our central philosophy is that to drive organizational change, especially when it's needed more rapidly, video is essential for other business initiatives to be successful, because it's how you coordinate communication. So looking at in the way our tools work, it's based on including AI and virtual machine learning, an algorithm that determines what is the fastest way for the user to get this video, if it is back to the public internet or from a user who's sitting right next to them. So Hive can get very technical very quickly, and a lot of our primary stakeholders are within IT departments. So I don't want to get too bogged down on details here, but I'll just show you some of the tools we provide in analytics that a lot of content creators use on a regular basis to validate that their messaging is successful in its delivery. So I'm going to share my screen real fast here. Okay, so is everybody seeing my screen? Great. So the first thing, and this is an exercise, we talked about the cost of investment in video tools, but also the cost of a failed event, let's say that, or a failed video delivery. Let's say that there is a live event. This is an exercise that some of our sales team do with our clients all the time, is let's say that there was an event that failed due to buffering or other network issues, or the quality was just so low that it was unusable, or let's say it was 10,000 people over the course of an hour. Based on the labor statistics, its average pay is about $41 an hour. So and let's say it failed for half the event. You could be looking at, for a failed live stream or CEO town hall, upwards of almost over $400,000 in lost revenue, both in productivity and the cost of rerunning the event. So the reasons a lot of companies will come to us at first is because they just had an event fail. They need to know to save their jobs. In many cases, they need to not fail the next time. So that is the IT angle of this and why they love us, but also from the people responsible for producing, it is an essential part of how they make sure their messaging is successful. So for an example, I'm going to use Jeremy, I'm going to use Augie as an example for this. Let's say that there is an HR initiative for open enrollment. It's open enrollment benefit season, that they need to get this video out. They create to everyone in the organization, need everybody to sign up for their benefits. They use your tool to create an AI generated video that goes over the instructions and gives some additional information that is necessary to do that. And they upload it to, let's say, their internal YouTube, whatever it is, Vimeo. We work with 40 video streaming platforms front ends. So if you can think of it, we probably integrate into the back of it. And they send it out, and each one of those videos is going to get a page like this, where you are able to look at both the quality of the region, but also very detailed how it is looking in any globally for different users. So there's a lot of IT specific statistics in here based on just to go over network and video performance. But if you can say, okay, the video is not getting to, there's only one viewer in Nigeria, or Tanzania, or wherever the issue might be, you can, content creators and the people responsible for this video, go back to their IT departments and say, they're not getting the content they need. We need to do some upgrades there. So it's a way of ensuring that the messaging is successful. And just through the internet, we can get to a level of detail that is really, really remarkable globally. And a lot of times, the way this is also used is, let's say another scenario where there is a live event where the CEO is on vacation in Australia. It happens, and he calls, he for whatever reason cannot watch the event, and he gets mad, as they want to do, and will makes an angry phone call. And today, all they have is anecdotal evidence to say that, well, we didn't see any issues. Maybe it was something with the machine. What our stakeholders with us will do is they will find him based on the private IP address, see where this, in case they were sitting in Melbourne. So we can look exactly at what was happening with her or him. All of these statistics are for a single person watching the video. So if you have to go in and measure performance for key stakeholders in the organization, you have the ability to do that. Performance, but also engagement. So that brings us over here. We have a way of looking at very tangible statistics and metrics with the video, screen size, whether it's in the foreground or the background of the desktop, whether it's on a primary or secondary monitor, whether it has been minimized at all. And we aggregate all of that and generate what are essentially Nielsen ratings for your video. So, and we track it across the timeline of the video. So this was a long event, but it would work just as well on a 3-minute video, where they could say, okay, everybody stopped watching after, say, 1.5 minutes. Maybe we need to revisit the content around that to make sure that there's higher engagement. You can do also things like check work from home engagement versus workers in the office engagement, depending on where the network locations are, and track this regionally. So users in the UK might have a different engagement score than users in the US, or users in different states might have different engagement scores. So it's really tangible feedback based on real player data that you're able to use and see how the media is actually being received. Real fast, the best story about this is we had a customer not long ago who called, and their engagement fell off a cliff right at about minute 16. This is not that example, but everything was highly engaged, and then it just fell right up precipitously. We saw no technical issues, but and so they were convinced something failed with the network. So we went and watched the event, and the first 15 minutes of the event were the CFO talking about yearly numbers and bonus payouts.
Mhm.
After he spoke, they transitioned to the next speaker, and wouldn't you know it, everybody stopped paying attention. So that is what accounted for that drop in engagement score. So they were able to take that data and use it to restructure their next town hall. So this is the type of
So
uh,
no bonuses until you watch the video, buddy.
yeah, pretty much. Um, this is the type of, and I know I'm probably coming up on my time here, but we're completely agnostic to the player, so we can work with, Microsoft is one of our biggest customers. We work on the back of their events internally, but also with all of their customers. A number of different, so it's the same if you have multiple platforms, it can work. So it really is a flexible way for under the hood. It doesn't affect the way that your video looks or in any way. You'd have no way of knowing it's on, but it's just humming in the background to make sure it's delivered properly and that you're getting all of the feedback, technical feedback you need to make sure the content is being successfully structured. So that
Yeah.
is deal.
Wait, and I didn't even introduce you properly with your slides. So I'm gonna go there. There you go, right there. So remember, if you came on at the top of the hour, I talked about video traditionally being unstructured data. Just stuff that was out there. You could never find out much about it. And Nick, you just showed us just how much. I mean, from time of day, I'm sure also to, like, and because you're global, do you guys move things across time zones, or is that not your job? Is that the company?
So it depends when the stream will is actually launched, because you can use or when the video
Mhm.
is launched, all of that, we're just reporting what is pushed by other platforms. So, but we have actually, speaking of AI, some tools that will look at all of your events and all of we have something like 200 customers globally in enterprise, and we look at all the data and we'll say to you, this is the best time for the most engagement to run your event. So they'll say Tuesdays at 3 o'clock for you
Yeah,
or something like that. So
yeah,
that's the type of suggestive analytics and feedback we're able to provide based on that.
yeah.